I recently joined the Getaround platform, and today I want to give you guys a 1 month update. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down on my 1 month thoughts on Getaround, what I've learned, what I like, and what I don't like. So let's get started. Last month, I bought a 2015 Hyundai Elantra to list out on the Getaround platform. And like I mentioned in the intro, today I want to break down what my experience has been in operating this car for 1 month on Getaround. But before we dig into that, let me first talk about why I chose a 2015 Hyundai Elantra as my dedicated Getaround car. You see, last summer, whenever I gave Getaround a try for the first time, I bought a 2007 Scion XD with 200,000 miles. And this, in hindsight, was a mistake. It simply had too much mileage, it was too old, and it was too run down. And as a result, this car was underutilized. I learned from that mistake, and this time around, I wanted to give Getaround a real shot, and I wanted to buy something that would be more desirable to the average renter, which is why I chose the 2015 Hyundai Elantra. It has everything that you could want out of a rental car. It's affordable, it's nice but not too nice, it's economical, and thus it made the perfect car. Now, the reason why I decided to give Getaround a try today in 2022 really comes down to their 2022 Host Guarantee program. You see, Getaround recently launched an earnings guarantee program where if you list your car on the Getaround platform, you will be guaranteed to make a certain amount each and every month. How it works is you simply go into the Getaround website, you then click on 2022 Host Earnings Guarantee, and from there you'll be able to see a guaranteed earnings calculator. You can input the make, model, car year, and zip code of the car that you're wanting to list, and then from there Getaround will tell you how much you'll make. So for example, with my 2015 Hyundai Elantra, I'm guaranteed to make $1,092 per month all summer long. That means regardless of how often my car is rented out, I know that I'll make at least $1,092. There are two different programs that you can take advantage of. The everyday program, which allows for you to make on average $1,000 per month. And this requires for your car to be active 80% of the time during the week and 100% of the time on the weekends. There's also a weekender program, which requires you to only have your cars available on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And with the weekender program, you could earn on average $500 per month. There are also a couple of different ways that you can boost your earnings, including adding 15% to your guarantee when you maintain guest feedback of 4.5 stars or higher, and a 10% increase if you enable Drive with Uber. It is important to note that the Host Earnings Guarantee is not available in all zip codes, so you will want to go onto Getaround's website, check out the Host Earnings Guarantee calculator, and input your zip code to see if you're eligible. So from my perspective, the reason why I thought this would be a perfect time to give Getaround a shot is because even if my car is rented out 0 days out of the month, I'll still be guaranteed to make money. If you're looking for more context on this program, how I got involved with Getaround again, and a little bit of backstory, you can check out this video here. I will have that linked in the description below. So now with all of that out of the way, let's talk about some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that I'm choosing to do differently this time around. So first and foremost is Drive with Uber, and I think that this is going to be the biggest game changer feature from a utilization standpoint as well as an earning standpoint. You see, Getaround has a program called Drive with Uber that allows for you to opt in to have your car rented out by Uber drivers. I think that this is huge because it fulfills a really large need for people that may want to drive for drive sharing services, but they don't have a car in order to do it. And this is again one of the reasons why I decided to go with a newer car this time around rather than another 2007 Scion, because I wanted to make sure that whichever car I listed on Getaround would in fact be eligible for Uber. Now, the downside of the Drive with Uber program is that it is not available in all markets throughout the country. It's available in a handful, and fortunately, Dallas, Texas is one of them. So we were actually able to opt into that in the last couple of weeks, and I've already noticed an increase in utilization with that program active. Drive with Uber was not available whenever I tried Getaround last year, so the fact that it's active and available today, I think is a huge plus, and I'm super excited to see how this does long term. The second thing that I've done differently and I've learned from my previous mistakes is getting the newer car, and I kind of talked about this in my intro. I decided this time around to get something that was nicer and thus would attract more renters, and I think that that was definitely the right decision, even though the car itself was more expensive than my original car. The car that I chose for Getaround is my 2015 Hyundai Elantra GT. It's extremely clean, it's very well kept, it's pretty low mileage, sitting at just 70,000 miles, so it is an extremely clean car that a lot of people will find desirable to rent, whether it be for personal use or for Uber. Choosing a car that was newer and nicer, I think, is going to make a big difference with utilization as well as how much I can earn per trip. And the last thing that I'm definitely doing different this time around is the passivity. You see, this is something I've talked about before on my channel, but one of the big benefits with Getaround is the fact that the business model is quite a bit more passive than other car sharing platforms. With Getaround, you only have to check in the car once per week, meaning it can go on multiple rentals per week, and all you have to do as a host is make sure that you inspect it once every 7 days, and that's basically it. The standard for cleanliness is also more flexible as well. Guests with Getaround are expected to clean and keep the car fairly maintained, and thus they're supposed to return the car in the same condition that they picked it up in. There are steep fees and steep ramifications for a guest that doesn't fill up the car, that doesn't return it clean, and that trashes the vehicle. Because of this, I haven't had to do really any work in between rentals, thus really helping with the passivity of the business. And why this is a game changer this time around versus when I gave Getaround a try originally is because whenever I gave Getaround a try back in 2021, I treated my Getaround car in the same way that I treated my other car sharing cars. I was checking it in nearly every day. I was checking it in between every single trip. I was detailing the car in between rentals. I wasn't really taking advantage of the full benefits that Getaround had to offer. And thus, because of that, it wasn't alleviating any of my workload. One of the big benefits of Getaround is the passivity, and if you're not taking advantage of that passiveness, then you're kind of leaving time and money on the table, which is something that I did previously that I'm no longer doing. And that is a perfect segue into what I like about the platform. And first and foremost, and by far my favorite thing about it, is the passiveness. You guys know that I am all about passive income, and over the last year, I've really been putting an emphasis of trying to make my money as passive as possible because my schedule is jam-packed and I can't really fit much else into it. The fact that Getaround is so passive is a huge benefit. And the fact that you can do Getaround, whether you're somebody with a 9-to-5, whether you're somebody that travels for work, whether you're somebody with kids, a jam-packed schedule, whatever the case is, that is a huge, huge benefit. And I think that is by far the best benefit that Getaround has to offer. And now let's go on to some of the things that I don't like, because despite the fact that my experience with Getaround has been really positive, there are some things that I don't enjoy. So first and foremost is the reporting. The analytics and reporting tools for Getaround is extremely lacking. Their website is very bare bones, very minimal, and depending on your style, that might actually be a benefit. But for me, I like to keep detailed reports and detailed information on my fleet, and Getaround simply doesn't offer that. And for some people, this may not be a big deal at all. It certainly isn't a deal breaker, but it's definitely something that I've noticed and something that I've been developing a workaround with my own reporting and my own P&L. And my last complaint is something that, depending on your style, could be viewed as either a negative or a positive, and that is the fact that hosts cannot set their own pricing. I definitely can see why Getaround does this. At the end of the day, the whole point of Getaround is to make the business as passive as possible. And by having to manage your own pricing, it takes away from that passivity. So I definitely understand why Getaround took this approach. But as somebody who really likes to be involved in my car sharing fleet, I wish that I could go in and adjust my pricing on my own, which I'm not able to do. Now, all in all, I would say that my first month with Getaround has been very positive. Like most new things, it takes time to gain traction and to gain your footing, but I am slowly but surely getting back into the groove of running a Getaround car. Where Getaround is a really attractive option for me is through the passive diversification. I have a lot of stuff going on every single day, and at the end of the day, I just don't have a lot of extra time. So to be able to add a new car to a different car sharing fleet without having to commit a ton of time to that, that is a huge benefit. In fact, in the last month of having this car listed on Getaround, I think HP and I have spent maybe a total of 30 minutes working on it. And though as of right now, this 2015 Hyundai Elantra is our only car on Getaround, I definitely could see myself buying more in the future. But with that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed my honest feedback on how Getaround is going. I'll continue to give you guys updates as I get more rentals and as time goes on. But if you guys are interested in checking out the Host Earnings Guarantee program, make sure to check out the link down in the description below. And like always, you guys, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.